Deji, there's an article of yours that we say about the rivalry between Camacho Quinn and Tobi Amusan. And there's so much to talk about between these two sides. And from statistics we have between both sides, head to head, we have Camacho Quinn having more wins, 10, as against our own Tobi Amusan having just 6. So on Tuesday, both of them met in Ostrava, where in a meet where we had Tobi coming third. And today, I'm sure after this section, we will also be witnessing them having the 6th Diamond League series of the year. Tell us about these two, because, it's now between, before now, it was between just both of them without anybody winning a world title. Now, it's now between Olympic champion Camacho Quinn and world record holder Tobi Amusan. But it seems that the world record the Olympic champion is having more win than the world record holder. Tell us about these two wonderful lads.
It's now tagged the Olympic champion versus the world champion and Diamond League champion. Tobi Amusan, won the world title last year in Eugene, and Camacho Quinn became the first Puerto Rican gold medalist in 2021 at the Tokyo Olympics. But the rivalry spanned way to their college days, where Camacho Quinn used to run for University of Kentucky, while Tobi Amusan ran for University of Texas, El Paso. And right from then, Camacho Quinn has always had the better of Tobi Amusan, bar for 1 or 2 races at the NCAA finals, I think in 2016 and 2017. Well, they've turned pro, and we know they are the top-ranked female sprint hurdlers in the world. And last year was where Tobi Amusan emerged off her shadows. But it's also interesting to know that they met a record 6 times last year, and Camacho Quinn won 4 times, and Tobi Amusan won twice. And the only 2 times that Tobi Amusan won against Camacho Quinn, she won the world title in the women's 110 final, while she also defeated Camacho Quinn in the final of the Diamond League last year in Zurich. So those are the 2 major titles she beats Camacho Quinn. But this year, it's not been a great start for Tobi Amusan. She struggled to make impact in races, and she's getting into her groove gradually. And they met for the second time at the Continental Tour Gold in Ostrava. That's the Golden Spike. And Camacho Quinn once again got the better of Tobi Amusan. But the shining lights for the lights at the end of the tunnel for Tobi Amusan at this point is the fact that she's getting into her groove back. She ran a season's best of 12.47, although Camacho Quinn has run 12.31, and she has even run a wind-aided 12.19 in Bermuda earlier this year. So she's the athlete in form, no doubt about that. But like we saw from last year, we can never rule out Tobi Amusan. The World Championship in Budapest is still a couple of weeks away, exactly about 49 days from today. So we've got about a month and about 3 weeks to go. So Tobi Amusan can still get into her groove. She's going to be competing later today against Camacho Quinn at the Lausanne Diamond League. For those that want to follow it, it's by 8:13 p.m. Nigerian time. So you can watch them go head to head.
8:30 p.m. today. So
8:13.
8:13. Okay, that's some few moments from now we'll be having that. Well, so the question does pop up, and there's a need to ask you. You work in a organization that nurture talents in athletics and all that has to do with sport management. If Camacho Quinn was in the semi-final heat where Tobi Amusan broke that record, world record, do you think that would have been so possible? Because with your statistics, it's few times you see Tobi winning where we have Camacho Quinn. With us, though she was in that final and she lost to Tobi, but is it possible, if there's a need to say that, will still be possible for Tobi Amusan to break that record where we have a Camacho Quinn beside her?
Okay, for track and field, what is more important for athletes isn't the world record. It's always winning a world title. If the world record comes with it, that is fine. And a large chunk of them will tell you that when they are under immense pressure at a world championship or an Olympic final, the main aim is to win that gold medal. If it comes to the world record, then they will take it. And that's why, for the most part, you will see athletes breaking world records outside major championships. Tobi Amusan is just one of the few that broke a world record at the major championship like last year. In fact, we only had 2 world records. That's Tobi Amusan in the 100 hurdles, as well as Sidney McLaughlin in the 400 hurdles. And they were over 32 disciplines at the world championships. So they're usually under immense pressure to deliver at that big stage by winning a title. And that's what their sponsors demand of them. So we can't really put permutations based on form. It's who is fit and ready to go on the day. And in Eugene last year, Tobi Amusan was just the better athlete on the day. It's been very nip and tuck between them. I think on average, based on their head-to-head, I've run 16 times with Tobi winning 6 and Camacho Quinn winning 10. In their head-to-head, it's obvious to say that Camacho Quinn is the slightly better athlete, no doubt about that. But when it matters the most, it seems Tobi Amusan can bring her head to the ground and ensure that she wins that world title, like we saw when she won the world title in Eugene, as well as Diamond League in Zurich last year. So that is all that matters. Everything going into the season is just a build-up towards what you can do on that D-Day. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. There are some young Americans coming through. Tia Jones finished second behind Camacho Quinn in Ostrava 2 days ago. She's also going to be running in Lausanne today. There is Alicia Johnson, the NCAA collegiate champion. She's also American. There's also the former world record holder in Kendra Harrison. She's in the mix. There's also Danielle Williams. There's Megan Tapper from Jamaica. So there are a handful of athletes. So this is probably the most competitive event at the World Championship. And the good thing is that compared to other events, they don't dock each other. They always race each other at every slight opportunity so they can test their level of fitness. So they run against each other in Ostrava. They'll be running again today in the Diamond League. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully she runs the season best. That's Tobi Amusan this season again. And I'm sorry, this evening again. And hopefully she gets better and better and she's in a peak form when she gets into the World Championship in Budapest.
Yes, see, Camacho Quinn, I no doubt her consistency plays out when she runs. With so much, with 8 Diamond League victory, on the last report I checked, we'll have to find out that she's still so consistent. What makes her more consistent? What do you think has eluded her several times why she has not broken the world record? Like someone said that to break the world record, any athlete can break the world record. But when it comes to the Olympics, gold Olympics, we've seen, let's now take it to the real 100 meters race. We see Prize Prize winning many of these Diamond Leagues and all that, but she's not without the world record. Why is that so?
Okay, I'll make this clear. The world record is very important for athletes, but it is not the ultimate. In the words of the great Usain Bolt, it says, in the next 20 years, somebody will come and break my records, but they cannot take away my world titles. And the major reason they cherish world titles or Olympic titles, because it's with them forever. They go into the record books. And primarily, that is what sponsors used to give them their endorsement. So you bring to the table what you won, and they would value you compared to your rivals, and they give you the better money, not world records. If you break the world record or a world record holder, yeah, you get some other benefits. When you go for meets, you get the best of lanes, you get the best of treatment in terms of flying first class. There are benefits to being a world record holder, no doubt about that. As same with Tobi Amusan with the endorsement she got in Nigeria, but primarily it was also because she was the world champion. But secondly, again, there are some events in which the world records had a bit of shaky reasons when they were set. So, for example, women's 400 meters, when the East Germans were, in quotes, suspected of using dope, were suspected of doping, Marita Koch clocking 47 2.8, I think. I mean, it's almost difficult for anybody to get there. The women's 100 meters, they talk about the wind gauge for Florence Griffin-Joyner, 10.49. And as good as Shillian Fraser-Pryce is, her personal best still stands at 10.61 seconds. So there are some records that seem very unattainable. Maybe it will be broken in the future, but like we've seen with Tobi Amusan, she pushed the limit for the women's 100-meter hurdles record. It was held by Kenda Harrison with 12.21 seconds prior to last year. She broke it in the semifinals when she ran 12.12. Then she ran a slightly wind-aided 12.06 in the final. Even though that's the one that's counted as the one for 12.12. But eventually, I think athletes like records, but what is important to them is world title, and that is what they train every single year towards reaching their peak for. And all that matters is who wins or who dips first at the finish line in Budapest.
Okay, we can only hope that Tobi. You mentioned Budapest, and what comes to my mind is, though you've given our audience a bit of what we likely expect, but do you think Tobi can still be the world champion the way she did it last year? I'm sure. What's your view about that?
It's going to be difficult. I will tell you that, but it's not impossible. And for major reason, Camacho Quinn rightly feels like she's deserving of the world title because she feels she's the best athlete on the grid.
Does she have any world title, Camacho Quinn?
She's the Olympic champion, but she's not the world.
She doesn't have the world championship title.
She hasn't won it yet. In 2019, nearly won it.
Okay.
Camacho Quinn, I think, finished fourth or third. No, she finished third. Tobi Amusan finished fourth. Then in 2021, Tobi Amusan won. Like we saw last year, Camacho finished with a bronze medal. And till today, we don't know what happened to her. She just lost it in the finals, and she couldn't come back and reel Tobi Amusan. Tobi Amusan was just a better athlete on the day. I'll just put it in that way. So it's not like Tobi can't win or defend a world title, but with the sort of form she's going into the championship with, it's difficult to tell. So in Lausanne today, if she runs a 12.3, I'll be much more confident, even if she loses out to Camacho Quinn. Like I said before, Camacho Quinn has run.
So let me cut you short there, and for our viewers, you mentioned the statement that even if she loses to Camacho Quinn, so that's you are even going to be fine if she makes a 12. You said a 12.30.
No, the 12.3, 12.30 seconds.
Yeah, a 12.3. Now, even if she loses to Camacho Quinn, why is that exciting? Because Camacho, that also shows that Camacho Quinn has also improved. That even the best you said about time about Tobi is still behind Camacho Quinn, and that to me doesn't call for excitement, because even when the World Championship comes place, going by that, she's still going to be behind Camacho Quinn. You have something to say about that?
It's about context, right? So already this season, Camacho Quinn has run a wind-aided 12.1 seconds. Our season's best is 12.31.
Okay.
Tobi Amusan's season's best is 12.47. Now, I talk a whole lot about these times, and that's what track is about for the most part, because that's what you can use to gauge the level of an athlete, where she is, not necessarily the result, because athletes kind of like will die under the pressure for the most part when they're not running well in the race. So you always look at their season's best for a large chunk of what they can do going into a major championship. So she ran 12.47 to finish third in Ostrava 2 days ago. I'm pretty much confident if she does a 12.3 and eventually loses out to Camacho Quinn, she would still probably get into the mood to get into a 12.2 seconds, or probably even a 12.1 seconds as well won the world title. What matters now is not whether Camacho Quinn is running faster than her. The fact that she can run as fast as she ran last season and she's ready to go on the line, then she can match Camacho Quinn on that day. Who says Camacho Quinn would not have a bad day? Who says that she doesn't drop a form? Who says she doesn't pull an hamstring? Nobody's praying for that. I mean, I'm sure she's got her own fans too, but so many mitigating factors can cause Camacho Quinn to bulge on the day. The same reason Amusan beat her last year in Eugene. But for Tobi Amusan part, she can only focus on what she can do. And for an athlete that started the season with a 12.7, breaking it down to a 12.69, then running a 12.59, then running a 12.47, just 2 days, then running a 12.3, you could see the progression for her. So it's almost guaranteed that she will do a 12.2, which would most likely get her a medal or potentially defend her world title for her.
Okay. Let me say this that maybe it's that tradition as a sport country or something that is not, but it's not supposed to be. Most times we will probably be expecting that who is going to be the next Tobi Amusan. Because looking at what Jamaicans are, that even the fact that they brought in Osembold, we still have Asafa Powell and Yoke Blake is still in the mix. But most often times for our country Nigeria, when a particular athlete is not internationally known, it's just a lone ranger. Now, let me use the example of table tennis. We keep saying Aruna Kodri and no one comes closer than Aruna Kodri. For table tennis, it's fair enough. We can say Omoteya Olajide and the upcoming Matt Titairo. But when we look at our 100 meters, we always push that. Now, the question is, who will likely take over from Tobi Amusan? Because I was at the last sport festival where we have a Lagos-based athlete. I've forgotten her name right now. She won the 100 meters hurdles. But who do you think, or what do you think is going on in the background about the next set of Tobi Amusan?
Okay, the thing with track and field is it's not restricted to only one event. For a nation like Nigeria, primarily our strength is in the sprint, and the sprint covers from the 100 meters. Well, if you're counting indoors, you're looking at 60 meters, 50 meters, but from the 100 meters to 400 meters. And over the years, all of our Olympic medals, world titles have come in that event, as well as the relays. That's our strength. So it would see, if you go back to the likes of Deji Ogeyingbo, Ichena Imedelu, the Choma Ajowa in the long jump, you can see it's a Brume doing the same thing in the long jump. Innocent Egbunike, we've got a storied history of athletes doing well in the sprint. And it's always changing tides. Same thing is happening to Jamaica. You probably only say the United States have been the one consistent, cutting across all events over the years. So for Nigeria, last year, it was the women that were doing well. And I got asked that question a couple of times, what's happening to our men? Guess what? The men are doing better this year than the women. No woman has run sub 11 seconds this year, but we've got 3 men under sub 10 seconds this year. Nigeria has 14 sub 10 seconds in our history, just behind Jamaica as well as the United States. Gostin Brume ran in 9.90 seconds at the NCAA semifinals. Pivorache ran in 9.96 at the NCAA semifinals. Then Udodi Ozuke ran in 9.92 seconds. Also before the NCAA at the Sex Championship, I think, for Stanford University. He also ran 1984 to win the NCAA championship. So we could see that the guys are proving their mettle. It might be too early for them to compete at the World Championship in terms of competing for a medal, but they're guaranteed to get to the finals based on their times and their consistency. So we're looking at the Olympics next year for them to medal, as well as probably the World Championship in Tokyo in 2025. That's 2 years from now. So it's a situation where we have to look at things progressively, not instantaneously. So when Tobi Amusan won the world title last year, she had 2 fourth-place finishes consecutively at the World Championship in Doha in 2019, as well as at the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021. So prior to that, she had not even gotten to the final of the world. She had gotten to the semi-final of the World Championship in 2017. So you could see the progression from semi-finals to finishing 4th, then winning the world title. So that consistency is key. So for Ashe, for example, he got to the semi-finals of the World Championship last year over the 100 meters. He would most likely get to the final this year. So he might not win because they're the better athletes, the Fred Curlys, the Simbines, the Ferdinando Mayalas. You could name them, the Marvel Braces. These are professional athletes that have turned pro and they've conditioned their body to peak at the World Championship. Whereas Ashe has run over 15 races. So when he gets to the World Championship, he might look spent and tired. But when he turns pro, you could almost guarantee that he will be contending for a world title. So I'm very confident, even though a lot of our athletes have been outsourced to being trained by the United States in the collegiate system, but it doesn't matter whether it gives us to come and build our own facilities and train them, remains to be seen. But the bottom line is that we've got top athletes in the ranked in the top 30 of their events, doing well for themselves in the sprints. We can just hope that the AFN utilizes their strength, especially in the relays. Let's not forget what we did at the Commonwealth Games, where we won gold in the 4x1. If we put together a very solid team, we can also win a medal, if potentially a silver, a gold medal in the 4x1. Okay. Because after the United States, Nigeria has the highest number of sub-10 seconds this season in the men. So it's now about putting them together and ensuring that they even qualify first, because they've not even qualified for the World Championship, and also ensure that they medal.
Yes, well said. You know, that's more reasons why we are one of the experts when it comes to athletics, and not little wonder that you are the country manager of a big brand like Making of Champions. Yeah, so lastly, Deji, what's going to happen tonight? It's 15. We're going to see Camacho Quinn. We're also going to see Tobi Amusan. What's your take? No more time. We are ready. Everybody, just like the World Cup final, we are all ready to see tonight. Tell us, what should we be expecting in few words?
Expect fireworks, no doubt. The women's 100 hurdles has always produced that, and hopefully it's something that can deliver on the big stage. So I am really optimistic that Tobi Amusan can finally get into a groove and eventually get our first win against Camacho Quinn this season.
Yes, thank you very much, Deji. Deji is the country manager of Making of Champions, a big brand when it comes to nurturing athletes, taking them to the next level. They've got a lot of athletes in their mix. I won't mention names, but Making of Champions is one brand you can rely on when it comes to athletics. Thank you very much, Deji, for being part of today's show.
That's a pleasure.
That's all. If you're just joining us, it's been a wonderful time on today's program. Same time next week, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sport. Yes, let's don't forget, 8:15 this night, we'll be seeing monitored in the last meet with in Ostrava against Camacho Quinn. And that's all today's program. I remain Mudashiru Shitu. Thanks for watching. Don't go away. There's still more on Plus TV Africa.